In that sense, I think I'm a bit critical towards the Sustainable Development Goals because it was quite interesting when in my organization in Brazil, we said, the Sustainable Development Goals, we have to work with those. It's so good. Let's study them, and see how we can bring that and spread that and so on. And then we actually sort of had a day where we studied them, and there were quite strong reactions of the people that there are some assumptions that are still very much based on the sort of developed world as the ideal world, and it's a very much of a sort of that is the model, that's the ideal model, the capitalist model, so a lot of those goals, they are really like, okay, so now we need to give you resources so that you can become like us, because that's what development is about. And I think those assumptions are maybe they are not clear, but they're still there. And so when we were looking at the context of Brazil, we were saying, so where is the understanding of the indigenous people here? What is their idea of development? Development may not be economic development. Development may not be, that what is in the Sustainable Development Goals. So it felt like it was a really bad fit, that it was a sort of global ideal model that is really, old in a sense. So I think that is a challenge for us when we think about global health, because I think that these sort of, and that is really embedded still in the whole system, the international system. And, so in that sense, I'm not really like comfortable with those models and, how we get into that local experience and how there is space for that local experience, because that local experience may be very different.
Yes.
And
so you think that the SDGs are like too much general? It's a huge approach.
It's not just that it's huge. I think it's biased.
Okay.
I think there is that sort of arrogant or the capitalist or that that model still there. Like to be developed, you have to be like
There's one ideal of development, and that is Western society.
So I would argue in line what I was saying. Like we've centralized who controls what global health is, how it should be achieved, and obviously local communities know what they want rather than an NGO coming from abroad telling them this is how we're gonna do, and then as a lot of you said, they come and then maybe they go, and where's the infrastructure that needs to be maintained after they've gone to maintain the effect, and I think it's a long process. I am not even sure if we can do it. I think like some systems are just sometimes too hard to change. But you can always, I think you can always try. I'm saying, but this one is like so huge.
Sometimes you just want to burn the world down. Sorry, we took this.
Okay, but we're going to this common ground that we need to go local. Okay, so it's kind of the local perspective of Martin, Owena, and Rachel. Then Stephanie, Rachel,
I don't know if I'll play the devil's advocate here, but it's really nice for us to sit here and criticize, and think about some of these things. But I ask myself, how will we do things differently if we are in maybe WHO or if we are in UN? We are all talking very nicely. I'm sure those who were even there when they were in our shoes, they had some of these discussions. They wanted to make a change, but why were they not able to make the change when they found themselves in that situation? And I know most of us will find ourselves in such situations. We complain, we see the change, we want to make change, but when we get there, it's like you don't have any knowledge anymore, or you have never been to school, or it's like you're just stuck there. Why can't the change happen? Why can't something change? That's the question. So many discussions, local empowerment, but when you become the head of a department or something, you still take people there to build houses. You still take people there to do stuff. Why don't you do what you want to say? What is the problem?
Yeah, that's why like the last part is going to be how we're gonna do it, and I think that if we are 35 people's class, if only 5 people fight with that, I will be very happy. I think that we have to do something like little by little. We're not going to change the world tomorrow, but we need to be kind of stubborn in this thing and just go for it. So it was Stephanie, Rachel, Miel.
I just wanted to say that